Hello, welcome to this video in this continuing series on world building. In the last video we did an experiment and we looked at the way in which the mind uses its grab bag of memories to construct images from the descriptions that we give it. But it's also doing more than that. It's doing more than just constructing an experience, a sensory experience. It is also constructing meaning. So imagine that house. Remember the house we talked about in the last video? Well, actually, there I've made a mistake because I didn't call it a house. I called it a building. Maybe you imagined it was a house. Maybe you imagined it was a barn. Maybe you imagined it was a church. I really didn't say. So given the minimal description that I gave you, your mind has probably gone one direction or another to start to fill in the function of this building. Our minds always try to find meaning. We are meaning-making machines. We search through the clues that are presented to us to construct some kind of story. So let's think about that house. It was long abandoned. Okay, so we know that. That's something that I told you. Why was the stone step worn down in the middle? Well, that's kind of easy. We can imagine that a lot of feet over a lot of time have worn the stone away. So that tells us that the house was old even when it was abandoned. So in this we are constructing meaning. We've taken the simple sensory experience, which has taken in that the wearing down of the step, and we are constructing some kind of further meaning to it. So why was the building abandoned? Well, if it was a house and someone lived there, maybe a plague came through that area and everyone died. Or maybe the owner of the house won the lottery and moved away to a pleasant bungalow in the Cotswolds somewhere. So we can start to construct stories. Now, obviously, I didn't ask you to construct a story, and based on the very minimal information I gave you, your minds probably haven't jumped forward very much in that. But what if I'd told you that just inside that front door with its worn down doorstep, there were some letters that were lying on the mat, yellowed and wrinkled with age and humidity damage? What might you think then? I believe that when we start to get into that kind of detail, most people are going to start to construct stories, possible meanings, possible reasons. So this is the second thing. We understand that a descriptive passage can make experience in the mind of the reader, but also now we discover it can construct meaning in the mind of the reader, and there is more. Let's suppose we think that some tragedy befell this house to leave it abandoned. What can we think about that? What do we regard that as a positive thing or a negative thing? Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? And this is the ascribing of value. So this is the next thing that our world building can produce. Experience, meaning, value. Is it good or bad? And then the final thing is emotion. How do I feel about that? Let's suppose a plague did come through and did kill everyone. And that's, I think, a bad thing. And then what does that make me feel? How do I respond emotionally? And so these four things, experience, meaning, value, and emotion, are the elements of world building that are being created by the reader in collaboration with the writer. And in the next episode of this short series, I'm going to tell you something about how I came to become fascinated by this topic and why I have been delving into it with such detail for a period of time, and then we'll kind of move on there towards practical techniques for you to use. As always, it's a tremendous help if you can click the thumbs up just underneath, and if you haven't already, do please subscribe to the channel.